Well, it finally did it. I think my stand, tripod, whatever you want to call it, broke. There was one screw missing. You don't say. Um, but have comedy. Have comedy. Never be so uptight you can't laugh at things. Words, let's not take, if words hurt you, then no. It's just, you're stronger than that. Warning, that was my disclaimer. Very politically incorrect, out on left field, and never with the intent to offend. Ever, ever, ever. But always sarcastic, and with the intent to turn things inside out and go, oh, so that's what it is. Because sometimes people will say or do things and they're really asking for help or whatever else. I didn't mean to leave for that many days or just not post for a while and end in, there was childhood molestation and end abruptly like that. But we had a stomach virus, not me, in the house. The house had a stomach virus. The house is getting out of COVID. Not me, my relative. And, there was a Christmas for sure. I ate so much. I ate everything that was for like 2 to 4 people, almost, except for like the ham. But I ate all the sweet potato casserole, all the green bean casserole, and that was it. But it's a lot. Half the marshmallow, whatever. And I watched Seinfeld all day. That's what I did. But I was super happy. I was happy my relative was, going through it, but no danger, no imminent danger when it came to like a serious cough or lack of breath, struggling to breathe or things like that. A fever, past 104. I've had fever of 104, so I can say it's time to do some very urgent care things, but no, always at a really decent, never above the 102 mark, always able to manage it. So then, what didn't scare me and things like that, conditions, nor her. So, all good. But yes, doing this, I got bit. Got bit all over the place. Florida is going to be 85 degrees for New Year's. So, I don't know. The door was left open for a little bit, and I have bites. What I want to give you is a little bit of background on me. Some people will resonate with it. Some people will not. Some people will go, oh my God, I'm autistic spectrum too. Oh, wow, I'm hyperactive too. I have mania as well. I had trauma at an early age too. I was molested or abused as well. Some people will resonate with one or more things. Other people will know people who they're like, wow, I know someone who went through almost all of this. Other people, as I speak and share tips and things, because, I want to pass on these techniques or tools to help people manage and get through whatever they're needing to get through. Now, does that mean that they're going to get through it and be saints? Who knows? Maybe they're going to be villains. Does it mean that I'm going to pass on these teachings and the world is going to get fixed? I don't know. Who knows? Does it mean that just because I'm doing this, anything's going to change? Who knows? Nothing will probably happen on the surface, but it's really not about what will happen or anything. It's just about doing it and not having a doubt, only having that pure, really good, strong intent, and keeping it very pure, very simple. I'll explain a little bit more, but I wanted to just pass that on, that, I wanted you to know a little bit about me before passing on those teachings and tools. Jesus, which everybody knows, that everyone who knows me knows that I believe he was a revolutionary, that the Roman army and empire, the Roman Empire, felt that he was in the way, and so on and so forth. So I love my JC, but I don't really see him as other people do. I do believe that it's a whole spell all up in there, but I also don't know if, is this on purpose? And so I've dissected it, like the Da Vinci Code and everything else, the Bible Code, as far as getting into all the possible realms or all the possible personas or stories of Jesus Christ. So I just see it as fascinating, whether it's true or not. And there's one parable where people are donating money, or they're giving money. And a rich man, a very wealthy man, gives some money, and not that much, Gives some money, it's a good amount, let's say it's 100. But he's a billionaire. And so JC is like, who knows? Just pay attention. Because he is kind of like, because I study it that much too, where I go, yeah, Jesus, that's what you noticed. But it's beautiful because it is real. So the person gives $100, let's say. He gave a certain amount in their time. But the equivalent of $100 in our time, when the person was a billionaire. Then a beggar woman, a street person, looked in her pocket, and she was, in those days, they had illnesses, so she kind of like crawled on up in there. She was just dragging herself, not well, and she gave something that you knew, or as the parable goes, was kind of like her last dollar. And so part of the story is for you to look at where things are coming from. That gets you into a lot of information. Look at where things are coming from. Then you'll see how much you mean to someone. Then you'll see how humble they are. Then you'll see the intent. Maybe they are giving you that. But let's say it's a scammer, it's a shady person. Well, then they're giving you that, and that's their gamble. Are you a gamble? All these things. But there's so much knowledge when you actually look at that instead of just assume, oh yeah, you gave me 100, you gave me 1. I like you. I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm not going to value it. Because the whole thing is about whatever you value more, you're going to then spend energy on giving meaning to. And what you are is energy. So knowing how in the hell you use or don't use your energy is key. H.E. Hockey Pucks. So this way you can know who is giving you this dollar, this very insignificant dollar. This way, perhaps you'll just grant me a little bit more of your attention. Because yes, sometimes the fact that we are here is just a testimony. Can you testify? So, aside from child molestation, there was early speech classes, early hearing problem. My eye would tear all the time when it was cold. Early things that I believe pointed to my neurological condition, which I don't normally like to say my neurological condition, but for purposes of people not knowing me, I'll, after this, say the neurological condition that I have. Or in an even more positive way, for 2022, I'm trying to think, I am thinking, see, did you get my example for students? It's a daily basis, daily thing. The positive thinking, the authenticity, the catching yourself. So for 2022, the condition I am surpassing, or the condition that will be a stepping stone for who I am at some point in time. The early signs of whatever, but there was the hearing thing, there was the speech classes, and there was sort of like when the class, or when they would do some PE and everyone would go this way, I would go this way. There was an evident dyslexia based on that, based on wrong turns. My parents put me, well, you don't know. My parents put me in some blue jackets, and it was like the Navy drills and things like that for kids. And, forward arms, present arms, about face. And there was Shakti turning around on a whole different direction. There were things like that. Same thing with the molestation. And we'll end on that again. Always keep it lighthearted, because I want to speak a little bit more on that, because as I'm sharing, I'm also giving out tools throughout the whole thing. But the lightheartedness is something that is necessary. And if we are sarcastic, it's really good to look at that too, because how cold are you in your sarcasm? How direct, how defensive are you in your sarcasm, or how aloof, how cold, how apathetic are you? And we'll go on deeper, but just to observe the self is such a great thing. I mean, no matter what religion, I said I would present all this in a very neutral manner, no matter what religion, what philosophy, what conservative, liberal, whatever. I didn't want to make make this about Ganesha or about Jesus, the way he is seen in other ways and paths, Christianity, Presbyterian, Catholicism. I wanted to have these techniques, these tips, these things just be passed on in a very neutral manner. So for me, it might seem sometimes before, from this point on, that I might pass them on, molestation and continue on. But, that's the point where I'm no longer there. And so I can take it lighthearted, because there's a certain point in time when you observe this life and yourself, and you realize how insignificant you are and how amazing you are all in one. And it makes you laugh. It makes you happy. It makes you, when you can think about and share such dark things and be sitting there looking at yourself on a screen, staring right back at yourself, saying, here I am, I made it. And that's just a beautiful thing, and it just makes you smile and laugh. And so anyway, we'll continue. I don't want to make it too long, just in case attention spans, and also my attention span, and also the whole Android versus iPhone.